Hey guys, Dev Horn here at WeBuyHouses.com, and it's time for Cash Offer Masterclass episode number 10. Today's victim is from Bluebonnet Properties. Thank you, Bluebonnet, for sending this over. It's a property in Lancaster, Texas. I believe that's how we say that. It's not Lancaster. I think we say Lancaster, but I'm not 100% sure. It's not Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I know that. It's Lancaster, Texas. So anyway, here we go. There's the property, 290 ARV. They're looking for 165, and they give us some info. So we're going to dive into this. First, let's get the calculator set up. We put the address in here, and we put the square feet in there. I like to verify that they've got 1514, built in 1985. They're showing it a 2.2. Interesting. Let's go jump over to what Zillow's got. Zillow says 3.2. You know, one of the issues here with properties is cash investors are looking for 3.2s, particularly 3.22 with a two-car garage. But two-bedroom houses are harder to sell than three-bedroom houses. It's hard to put a family in a two-bedroom house, you know, maybe a husband and wife and a baby. But once you start having a family, you're looking for that three-bedroom or more. And so 3.2 is kind of the minimum of what a cash buyer wants. And here in Texas, around 1,500 square feet is pretty much a mid-size home. Now, this one doesn't have a garage. It has a carport. And so that's okay. But Zillow's basically saying they think the house is worth about 273. When I checked Realtor said almost 275, and I checked my property radar and it also said 275. And so basically what I've done is I've kind of come up to the idea of 275 is my ARV from those sources. That's $182 per square foot. The wholesaler said 290, and our model says 275. Not a huge variance. We can work with that. All right, so that's where we're at. 275 is our ARV. Let's jump into what this thing needs. Now, they give us some information. Remember that. And remember, if you're a wholesaler, this is the template for a great wholesaler email. You've got, you know, kind of your hero shot, your address, your prices, the link to the photos, and then you've given some information to help with the additional information about the property or the deal. So it's funny that they say two. I wonder about that when we get into it, what we're going to see. What are they saying? Roof, 3 years old. So no roof. HVAC needs repair replacement. We're going to have a full HVAC on this thing. Foundation, slab. Well, that's not a condition. That's a type. And so it's got a slab foundation. So we'll be looking in the photos to see if we can determine if the foundation's in great shape or not. Hey guys, if you're a qualified cash buyer, you have money to spend, you want to acquire properties in North Texas, reach out to Bluebonnet Properties, whether it's this property or some of the other ones that they have. They're a great wholesaler. Reach out to Taylor at 469-283-6950 if you're interested in buying real estate through Bluebonnet. So let's jump into the pictures. It's my favorite part. Isn't it yours? I mean, I just like to see, get in there, and it's kind of like we get to walk around virtually. Okay, you guys know I like mechanical stuff, and this is an example of, you know, we haven't seen this before, showing the circuit breaker. And I can't tell much about this box. It doesn't look horrible. And see, there's your twins for your AC and your dryer and all that. There's your big main. Yep. 20s, 15s. That's a 40. It was a 40 and a 30 amps. So, all right. So that's a good shot. I think it's a great thing to include. Those who are more knowledgeable about electrical panels and systems might be seeing something I'm not, but it looks okay to me. All right, jumping in, and there's a little bit more from the circuit breaker. Boy, they really are proud of the circuit breaker. Honestly, it does look fine, though. I think it's fine. Flooring, we've got some rough textured tile. This house was built in 85, so you're going to see knockdown texture and, decent moldings and things like that, I would imagine. Not much to tell from that shot. Like we're in a closet. We came right out the gates, just boom, right into the closets. Okay, I don't know what's going on out here. The doors are not finished. We're missing the molding that goes around these doors. I'm not sure. Wow, that's just kind of interesting. Why do we have that? Man, I think that looks like popcorn on the ceiling, you guys. I hate to say it, but the 80s. I think the 80s was the popcorn era. Let's see, it could be a rough texture, but I have a feeling that's popcorn. Probably popcorn's been painted over. It's no fun to get this stuff off the ceiling, go back to a normal texture. Man, this house is so filled with stuff I can barely see anything. But it just, kind of looks like an 80s house. Those blinds are no good. These windows are probably from the 80s. There's that texture on that ceiling again. And got tile floors in there. I think we're in a main living area at this point. This could be like a dining area or something like that. All right, we're into a bathroom. And the bathroom is missing some parts, which is okay because those parts probably weren't that great anyway. So you replace the vanity, got some little bit of plumbing there. Old toilet probably from the 80s. They're ready for action with the toilet rolls. One of those old vinyl covers. Hate those things. They look horrible. Maybe at the time seemed like a good idea. I just don't like them. Bathroom needs to be completely redone. Flooring is, I'm sure, not good. It doesn't look good. There's another view of that. See those things? So ugly. And I honestly think this is all one thing. Like I think that's part of that tub. Probably one of those cover things. Like there's a tub under there and somebody's put a vinyl cover over it. I was seeing a little bit of separation there. The other thing I'm noticing is, walls painted with a semi-gloss or gloss paint. This is in a bathroom, so you'd kind of expect that, but it just seems like everywhere things are kind of glossy, like that textured ceiling just seems a little like it's popping a lot of light off of it. Yeah, like the trim around all the doors is gone. Why? Why did we do that? Maybe we were going to paint it. I don't know. It's, interesting. Ooh, I love this. I love to see the HVAC. Yep. It's an older unit and things look a little rough around here, but it looks all right. Yeah. Huh. Not super new, but it also doesn't look horribly old, so we're gonna say it's okay. What did they say about the HVAC? They said needs repair replacement. Thank you for reminding me of that. They're saying no bueno on the HVAC, so we're gonna throw some money at that. Big huge tiles on the floors, interior space. Y'all know what I feel about tile. I don't think it's an appropriate surface for main living areas, but that's kind of when I'm trying to get the house to full value. We might use like an LVP, luxury vinyl plank, or a laminate flooring product or something like that, and give it some texture and warmth and all that. Generally not these big tiles. But if this was a rental situation, might just leave the big tiles because it's hard for renters to mess those up. And you know what renters do to carpet and other surfaces. Yeah, doesn't it look glossy? Looks like the ceiling, looks like that whole house is painted with semi-gloss or gloss. I don't know. Oh, look, a dining area. At least what appears to be one. Now, hang on. What was that last picture? Okay. That's front door. All right. Yes, this is a dining area. Look at that. Isn't that disgusting? That's disgusting. You need to replace these things. Makes everything look better. The house needs paint, needs a bathroom. We saw that. Um, this is the kitchen, and I don't know if that's a small refrigerator, but it doesn't fit in that space, or the space is larger than the needed for that fridge. Let's see. Do we see anything else? Where were the countertops? Where are we? I don't 100% know where we are. Maybe this is the laundry room. No, guys, this is the kitchen and they've ripped out everything. But see, that's a knockout. This looks like plumbing back here. Like your sink would be here. Maybe. Like, I think what we're seeing here is the kitchen, and the kitchen has no countertops or cabinets in that lower section. Yep, that's what we're seeing. Needs a kitchen rebuild. Something is missing. All right, water heater. Oh my, this water heater's got to go. Look at that decay down at the base of the water heater. This is why you're required per code in most cities to have a drain pan under your water heater with a drain line away from it, in case the bottom like rots out like this, and then the water begins to leak out and it'll go all over your house if there's no drain pan. Many houses that we go into have no drain pan, and it kind of tells you how old that water heater is, because we've been putting drain pans under them for many years now. It's an old A.O. Smith. That thing's no good. That's what, 600. Wait, gas? Yep. Gas, $700 for a water heater. And it's hard to tell if that stuff fits. It's kind of just stacked in there. Well, we're coming back into rooms we've seen before. They turned the light on. That's nice. Outside, what are we seeing? Very hard to tell about roofs on photos. The siding looks old, needs to be painted. The windows, they don't look great. I don't know if those are the original windows or not. Built in 1985. It could be. Could be. All right, we're looking. Just look at some of this under here, under the eaves. You see some repairs have been done, and maybe not to the highest of standards, perhaps. Carport's all right. There's like a missing corner piece there. Normally frame that in. That board is bigger than that board. Other than that, it looks perfect. Perfect. All right. Yep. That's kind of what we expected. What did I see over there? Looks all right. That's a funky looking picture. What are you showing me here? Something's weird there. I wonder if water pools there. I'm not exactly sure what that is. That might be the dryer vent. Not 100%. No, it wouldn't be. Not by the front door. Or maybe this is the back door. No, this is the, yeah, we're in the carport. I bet it holds water right there. There's something, and they're showing us that in the picture. This is why you'd want to talk to the wholesaler. If you're serious about this, talk to him and find out what's really going on. Dang, is that the backyard? Maybe it's not fenced. Looks huge. Looks like it goes into a park. Again, the siding, this thing hasn't been painted in 40 years, and it shows it. And if you look under those eaves, look at the top. They've all been reconstructed. How do I get that thing to go away? Hang on. See that up there? Exposed wood. They did a repair here. Something was not good here. They did a repair. They never painted it. And if you don't paint it, the wood will get ruined. It's the same thing with siding. If the paint wears off your siding and you don't replace it, your siding is going to get damaged by the weather. It's just, as homeowners, this is the stuff that we should be doing to preserve the value of our home. And, these guys didn't do it. I don't think those are new windows. Looking out the back again and again, and there's a shot of it from the back field. I wouldn't call that quite a yard. I think it looks more like a pasture. You can really have horses out there. Man, nobody even thought to pick up a paintbrush in 40 years. And then all those eaves, I think there's serious reconstruction that needs to occur here because they didn't seal it, they didn't paint it, they just left it exposed to the elements, and now I'd say that wood is ruined. You're going to get curling and these corners, I don't think those are properly cased in. Honestly, the roof doesn't look horrible. It is a pretty good shot to see the roof, but here you've got maybe when they re-roofed it, they did repairs around the eaves and they just never painted it. That is a crazy thing to do because somebody put work into this. That's, not great work, but somebody put work into it. This thing is worthless. In fact, pretty much any exterior building, the appraiser won't give you almost anything on them. I'll just say, what's a nice to have. All right, more field shots. And boy, for a 1985 house, does this look like an 85 house? It looks like a 65 or a 55. Something like that. Look, there's a nice little porch. It could be all right. Fixed up. Total exterior paint. Total interior paint. Needed bathrooms. Needs an HVAC. We're to the end of the photos. Let's jump over to the calculator. Full cosmetic, and to me that's a fully loaded renovation as your cosmetic plus your general. So we're at $24,000, and what we would do just cosmetically to the house, that would include paint. I honestly feel like that's a little low because we've got, in fact, I would treat it down here. I think the roof's okay. I think the eaves are not, and so I might put, that's not even enough. I might put like 0.5 in there to repair the eaves. And then they said HVAC, let's say it could be repaired. So a full replacement, 9 G's for a 1,500 square foot house. Let's say we can repair it. We might put 0.3 or we might put 0.5 or something like that. Since they called that out, needs repair or replacement, if it's a replacement, I'm off by $5,000. If it's just a repair, maybe we can get it done for this. So there's a little risk right there. Man, I think to be safe, I'm just going to call it a replacement because of the way they said needs repair or replacement. And I trust them. I trust what they're telling me. So there we go. We're going to repair the eaves. We're going to replace the air conditioner. And we're going to do a full cosmetic. That's $38. So $38 in repairs. That's $26 per square foot on that 1,500 square foot home. Let's go over and calculate the cash offer. Well, of course, the model's done it for us, but let's see what the model's telling us. That the ARV is 275 times 70% minus the repairs of 38,607 takes us to 154,277. Let's go back and look at what they had. They had 165 and a 290 ARV. So they're literally, well, they're about 10,000 more than we are. You know, maybe they bought it for 154 or 150, and wholesalers got to make money, right? They brought this deal to you like they went out hunting and brought it in. All you got to do is cook it, you know. So that's one of the things about, like, if you're a cash buyer and you didn't have to incur all the marketing costs to go find a deal, in my experience, it can cost us $3,000-4,000 in marketing to get a deal all the way to closing, that we buy it, own it, fix it, flip it. It costs us 3-4 G's just to get that thing in the door. So that's another expense to consider in addition to just the cost of the property. And again, I'm at 154, and I did throw in a full air conditioner and a considerable amount of work around those eaves and the outside of the house. I don't think this is a horrible deal. The 290 ARV wasn't supported really by what we saw on the other sites, but it wasn't that far off. It was 15K off. And so yeah, look, I'm going to call this actually a pretty good deal. Like, we can't always get exactly what we're looking for, but if we can work with that, like if you went in and said, hey, I could give you guys 160, you're paying a little bit more than the cash offer, but it would have cost you that much to get the deal, right? So, all right, well, 154, 277. Ooh, squeaky chair. 154, 277. That's our cash offer for this property today. I just want to say thank you again to Bluebonnet Properties for being our victim today and showing us 824 Bayport Drive in Lancaster, Texas. If you have any interest in this property or want to find out what else Bluebonnet has, call Taylor 469-283-6950. By the way, guys, I don't have any relationship with these folks. They're wholesalers that send me deals, and I realized this would be cool to do some education with this because they give us the pictures and all this information, and you usually don't have that, if you're just looking at a house on Zillow or something like that. So this is pretty cool to have that. So that's it for today. We've made it through 10 episodes. I hope you guys are learning something. If you haven't already done it, go to cashoffermasterclass.com, click on Get the Calculator, fill out that form. I'll send you the calculator. You can start to do this yourself. And of course, I hope that you will subscribe to the channel, WBH Dev. Just search for Cash Offer Masterclass on YouTube and you will find it. And so with that, my friends, that will be it for today. Thank you for dropping by. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day.